welcome to this edition of Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Roddy Woods. We're missing Chris Blevins, but Chris Reddick is with us. Chris is enjoying his honeymoon down in Cancun.
Okay. We'll let him enjoy it.
We let him enjoy it, but he'll be back next week. He'll be back next week. He said he'd be back.
Have a real good time. Maybe want to stay another week.
Maybe stay down there and not come home. I don't know. He said he'd be back when I talked to him before he left to go on his honeymoon. So, congratulations, Chris. You know, hey, we miss you. We do.
And enjoy yourself on that vacation. But not, make sure you come back.
All right.
Stuck down there.
No, we don't want you stuck down there, Cancun. All right. We are powered by Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge and Highway 66, their new location right here in Sevierville. So if you're visiting Sevier County, come on by, pick you up one of them fresh Krispy Kreme donuts. The hot light is on twice a day.
Ooh.
You know all about that, don't you?
Yeah.
You know all about that. All right, it's time for the Buddies Barbecue around the nation and across the region report. What do you got this week?
All right, around the nation. Well, in the news, I always like to try to find a story that ties in locally but made nationwide noise. And according to the USA Today, they have a story that was based from WCYB TV 5.
Okay.
But I don't know how great this story is, but it got some national attention, and forgot the originator of who actually captured this on video. But, every Saturday, in between, the NCAA football games,
The Little League.
well, that's where I was getting ready to start. You got the Little League youth game. And one of these youth games is happening in Wise, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So, you've already heard about it.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw
Not good.
Not good. Don't really want to talk about this, but just want to make awareness on, youth sports and what happens. Unfortunately, a Pee Wee game in Wise County, Virginia. Unfortunately, after the game, when you line up, and my dad always says this is the most important part of the game. This is the part I love because that shows the good sportsmanship. No matter how the game went, you lay all that down once the whistle blows and you go up, you line up and shake hands. Well, unfortunately, some coaches took it another step further and they got into a little scuffle, I'll call it. And of course, like I said, there's video on it and you got a few punches and I think somebody gets on the ground. But the thing is about it is with youth sports, I've been involved with it with my son, is you got to take a lot of things for a grain of salt. You don't want to be, because you're mentor, not only your coaches or parents, that you're mentors to the children who are playing the game, and you're trying to teach them good sportsmanship and to be just a good human being and teach them a lot about life. And then you turn around and then something like that happens to where these kids see that and it's a memorable mark on them that it's hard to erase. So all I got to say is, I like to search for the national stories, but I don't really like to talk about stories in this manner. So just, be considerate of the youth when you are teaching, coaching, and parenting them at the games. And like I said, make sure it's good to have good competition, but make sure at the end of the day you know the importance of what life's really about, and remember that it is just a game.
It is just a game. Thank you, Chris. Chris Blevins will be back next week, and he'll have his across the region because a lot of things are happening. We're getting to that point of the season where it's playoffs, and when we come back, we got a huge game this week that will set a lot of things in place up in the Northeast. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when we come back, Bart Lyon is going to join us, and he's going to give us the scoop on his big victory. The Science Hill Hilltoppers had a big victory on the road at Hardin Valley last weekend. Bart will have all that and a lot more things in his mind. So, plus his player of the week. So make sure you stay right here on Your High School Sports. Chris and I are coming right back.
Get the right services you need from a name you can trust at Crescent Center Drugs. Whether it's hormone replacement therapy or if you need to update your immunizations for flu, pneumonia, or shingles, Crescent Center Drugs has a professional and friendly staff, always ready to take care of you. That's why for many years, Crescent Center Drugs has been your good neighbor pharmacy. Right now, getting your medicine is fast and easy when you sign up for the IVR system. It's simple. Once your prescription is filled, your box is scanned, and you instantly receive a phone call or text for pickup. Visit Crescent Center Drugs inside the Crescent Shopping Center.
Okay, welcome back to Your High School Sports. And of course, we got on the line our Tri-Cities correspondent and the voice of the Toppers, our guy, Mr. Bart Lyon. Bart, what's going on, man?
Hey, how about those toppers, Mr. Reddick? How about those toppers, guys?
Yeah, toppers are big time, man. Like I said, they can turn things around. Go ahead and talk about it.
Hey, got that big win at 17, the 3 win over Hardin Valley, went on the road to Knoxville and got that win. That leads us 2-2 in the conference and still in the hunt for the playoffs. Got Morristown West coming into Johnson City on Friday night for senior night. Shout out to all the seniors and my good friend Jeremy Carver Marler, who will be participating in the senior night activities. And then, of course, we've got to go on the road to Jeff County for the last regular season game of the year. So I know Spencer Riley and the Jefferson County Patriots, I know they'll be geared up and ready for us.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you just mentioned Jeremy. I know that he likes to keep that birthday going on and on. So I'm going to extend it even more and wish him once again another happy birthday.
Absolutely. He doesn't have, Jeremy doesn't have a birthday. He has a birthday month.
Exactly, yeah. So that's what I said. Even though we've moved on, we're moving on, we'll keep it going a little bit longer.
Absolutely. How about speaking of celebration, how about 7-0 David Crockett, Coach Chayton Hanley? Hey, Coach Hanley's got those guys really going in the right direction, and he's got them ready for a playoff run. They're 7-0.
Wow.
Larkins, the quarterback, Cade Larkins, 5 touchdown throws, 367 yards passing. 23 attempts, 12 completions last week. And then you got your county rival over there, Daniel Boone, who's 6-1 on the season. And Coach Jenkins has got those guys ready to go. That matchup in the Musket Bowl in a few weeks will be a big-time matchup for sure.
Oh, man. When's the last time we've said the Musket Bowl was going to be a big-time matchup?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
That's going to be a big game. What else going on?
Of course, you guys touched base on the Greeneville and Ellzabethton matchup. That will be a heavyweight battle for sure, and that'll be a game. Everyone up here in Upper East Tennessee will have that circled and asterisks beside on the schedule, and it'll be a big crowd for sure. Some sad news out of Chucky Doak. Our thoughts and prayers go to the family, friends, and teammates of Jamin Price, number 24, a Chucky Doak football player. He passed away in an automobile accident on Saturday. So number 24, Jamin Price, let's definitely keep him and his family and friends and teammates in our thoughts and prayers. So go Black Knights. Hey, my player of the week will now be the team of the week. Okay. And the team of the week will be Silva Central Cougars in a 36-game losing streak.
Wow. And,
man, what a performance they have. Their quarterback, Jackson Harrison, who threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another. Joey Bird, 170 yards rushing and 3 scores as well. And Jackson Harrison, he's a kid that's been around the program a long time. He's a multi-sport athlete at Sullivan Central, and I'm very happy for him and all the kids and staff at Sullivan Central. 36 games in a row they've lost.
Wow.
They persevered, they fought through it, and they got them a big win. So the team of the week, the Sullivan Central Cougars.
Oh, well deserved. Well, Bart, any last words?
As always, guys, go Toppers.
Go Toppers. All right.
Express Shine Car Wash. You don't want to drive around in a dirty, dirty car. You gotta get it washed, Wanna show the whole world how fine you are. Go on and get it washed, time to get it washed. Take your foot off the gas and enjoy the ride. See the soap suds fly in the colorful neon light. For a clean, clean, clean like you've never ever seen. Claymore's Express Shine Car Wash.
Welcome back to your high school sports. I'd like to thank Bart Lyons for his report. Big win for Science Hill. But I want to say this to you.
Yes.
You have been on that Science Hill bandwagon all year long. and I thought about something when Bart was talking about it. They go to Knoxville and they beat Bearden, and they beat Hardin Valley, and in Knoxville.
Yes. And you know what? They met my challenge this past week because you remember last week on this show, I said, this is my last chance. This is it. And technically, it wasn't really my last chance. because it was really their last
Yeah,
chance.
it was.
If they would have lost that game, they would have probably been eliminated from the
Yeah,
playoffs.
but now.
But now the tables have turned because this team has a chance to probably if they finish and win the rest of the games, which they have an advantage, believe it or not,
Yeah, they do.
they are the driver's seat because where most teams have 3 games left, they only have 2,
Right.
and they got 2 that's at the bottom of the conference. So all I got to do is win those 2 games, sit back, relax, watch, see what plays out with the other teams, and they got a chance to come in second place.
And you know why? Because this week's Farragut-Bearden game will probably determine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if Farragut wins, their home field.
If Farragut wins, Science Hill will have that advantage over Bearden because they've been on the head-to-head.
They'll finish.
So they can finish second if they win out. So it's all in their control. The destiny is in the hands of Science Hill. They went out. They got a good chance of finishing second, which keeps them at home in the playoffs.
Yes, it does.
And anything can happen once you get into the playoffs.
Yes, it can. Yes,
And
it
like
can.
I always said earlier, this is a talented team that's young, but guess what? By the end of the year, you're a veteran at that time.
Thank you. If you're a sophomore,
Yeah,
you're a junior.
Yeah, you're junior.
You're junior.
So hey,
All right.
still in it.
Look out. Look out. All right, it's time for Big Game Performers, sponsored by Mystic Mountain Media right here in Sevier County. So, Chris, Big Game Performers this week.
In Upper East Tennessee, the big game performers, there's a lot of familiar names now. Dropping out last week was teams from Ellzabethton and Crockett. That's because they were off last week. But they are back. And what are we talking about? Who's back? We're talking about Carter Everett. Carter Everett, once again, throws 13 out of 15 passes, over 250 plus yards with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not finished. 6 touchdowns. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's a big game performer.
Big game performer. Another big game performer in Upper East Tennessee with that big win that that Bart talked about. Chris Thomas. Chris Thomas. Big time. This time he broke over the 200-yard mark with a touchdown, doing a lot of work for Science Hill as they go on the trail of trying to finish second in the conference. Then, of course, what else can we say? We talked about Cain Ballard
He's
last time.
I got him listed as well. I was taking up the slack.
I'll say that for you. But yeah, the reason why he's probably one of yours, Greeneville is right in between Upper East Tennessee and East Tennessee, so right there in the middle. So it's easy to double cross. Yeah, so we'll let you have Kate. But can I talk about his receiver? Do you have his receiver?
I had him too, but you.
Well, we'll pass on the receiver. Let's move on to Unicoi County. Unicoi County is having an outstanding season, and that's because they got a quarterback, Brock Thompson. And what did he do? He did nothing but work by throwing 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns this past week. And now let's slide over to a person we're very familiar with. A lot of big colleges are starting to look and check this kid out. He has good size. He's 6'2", he's 2+ in size, and he's Charlie Cole. That's what I'm talking about. What did Charlie Cole do? Charlie Cole had 3 touchdowns, 155 yards. So that big Charlie Cole train keeps running. And we got a surprise. We're going to give this big game award to an entire team. This is the Sullivan Central Cougars. And because we're giving this big game announcement to Sullivan Central, because they ended a 36-game winless streak by defeating Sullivan East Patriots. So congratulations to the entire team. Man, it was nuts after the game. And oh boy, I know everybody's having a good time living on that moment. And finally, we're going to talk about somebody from Davy Crockett. What kind of amazing season has this team been having? I know people are excited about the Crockett Boone, the Crockett Boone finale that should come here in a couple of weeks if they both keep winning. But we're talking about Kay Larkin. And what did Kay Larkin do? Well, he passed that 300-yard mark. He had 367 yards. And let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, not done. 5 touchdowns. Amazing effort from all of those athletes. Big time players in Upper East.
Big game performer. Now, I want to talk about this guy because I had a chance to talk to his dad.
Okay.
He doesn't he don't toot his son's horn. But what can you say about Cade Ballard? He was 5 for 6, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns in a 62-7 win over Sullivan South. And you were getting ready to talk about Dorian Goddard. Goddard caught 3 touchdown passes for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. The game is coming up this Friday night. We talked to Coach Ballard. You heard some things at the interview I had with him, but Chris, it's going to be up and down the field.
Oh, you heard Carter Everett's stats. We just heard Cain. I mean, we're going to have a quarterback. I mean, we know it's going to be a team battle. But we've got some fun, talented quarterbacks here that are going to have fun tossing that ball around.
Yes, they are.
It's
they
gonna
are.
be fun.
So when we come back here on Your High School Sports, we're going to set up the big games. There's one Thursday night, Bearden and Farragut. We're going to talk to Chris, and I are going to discuss those games, and then the game that we've been talking about, Greeneville hosting Ellzabethton. That is for all the marbles up in the Northeast. So stay right here on Your High School Sports. We're coming right back.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
Okay, welcome back to Your High School Sports. Chris Reddick, and on the line with me right now, I have head coach of the Ellzabethton Cyclones, Coach Shawn Witten, and Coach Shawn Witten has got a big matchup this week against Greeneville. Coach, thanks for being on the show.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, like I said, we don't have to describe this game. I mean, everybody's got this asterisk and mark on their calendar. Everybody in the entire state, I believe, is excited to see this big-time matchup between Ellzabethton Cyclones and the Greeneville Green Devils. So, Coach, all I got to ask is, what do you got to do to beat the Greeneville Green Devils this week?
Well, so many people are just excited about this game because of the way that we played them last year. Unfortunately, we're this year's football team. Last year has nothing to do with this year's game. I mean, the thing about it is, obviously, Greeneville didn't get any worse. They got a lot better.
Yeah.
And we just got to do a great job of just getting ourselves ready to play. And I know that sounds crazy, but Greeneville just explodes out of the gate. They're so strong, and they deliver a great punch to try to really put the game away early.
Yeah.
We got to get ourselves ready to make sure that we can stay in the game right off the bat.
Yeah, and let's talk about the high power offenses that both teams have. Like you said, both teams have had success to this point, putting a lot of points on the board. Do you see this a type of game that could be a lot of points put on the board this week?
No, we definitely don't want that to happen. Greeneville's defense is not going to allow that to happen either. I mean, they're not going to allow, more than 14, 17 points. I mean, I hope that we can find ways to score more than that, but it's not going to, it's not going to be a shootout for sure. I mean, we're just, Greeneville's defense is too tough on them. As much as their offense gets a lot of the notoriety, their defense is what makes them so great.
Yeah.
And, we definitely got to make the most of our possessions. When we get down in the red zone, we got to score. We got to find ways to at least come away with 3 points. But field goals are not going to beat this team either.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. You got to be able to score touchdowns. We got to find ways to do that. But I don't see it being a shootout. Just like last year, a 24-10 game, 17-10 for most part of the game, 33 at half.
Yeah.
We hopefully we need it to be a low-scoring affair, and that means our defense and both defenses are playing extremely well.
Well, Coach, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I know you got a few more days to still prepare for this big one, and I appreciate you taking some time to talk about the big game coming up this week, which is the Greeneville Green Devils taking on the Ellzabethton Cyclones. This game will be played in Greeneville, and I'm sure, Coach, that there's going to be a lot in attendance in watching this game. So, Coach, good luck to you, and thank you for taking a little time on Your High School Sports.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Now I'm on the line with head coach of the Greeneville Green Devils, Coach Ballard. Coach, no bigger game than this one coming up Friday night, is it?
No, for sure. It's a big one. Conference championship on the line. Playoff seedings. Just two great teams with tradition. Goes back a long time.
When you play a team, well coached like Ellzabethton is, You don't have to get your players up for this game, do you?
No, our kids don't. They won't need any extra hype for this one. You know, we've battled these guys for many years. These seniors, juniors have played against these same kids back in middle school and had really good games every time out. So I think everybody understands it's going to be a great football game.
What do you have to do to stop Ellzabethton's offense?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, I think. They do a great job. Coach Witten does a great job of putting his kids in a position to win every play, and our guys gotta answer that. You gotta get lined up first of all to what they're doing. They're very multiple on offense, so we gotta line up right first. You better know where number 5's at, and I feel like they've got the best group of receivers that they've had, and Everett's having a great year at quarterback. So big challenge for our defense.
Now, on the other hand, how does Greeneville? What do you have to do to win this game?
In any big game, I'm going to tell you, take care of the football. It's going to come down to turnovers and special teams. I think everybody will look at these two offenses and expect big plays from our offense. But in a game like this, it can come down to special teams play, and I think both teams are really good on special teams as well.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking a moment of your time on this busy week before you play Ellzabethton Friday night. Let me ask you the last question. How important is it to be at home for this game?
Well, I'm glad we're at home. We had to make this trip last year, and our kids are on fall break, so we've got enough distractions going on. It's always good to be at home, and I think the incredible crowd here Friday night to create a great atmosphere for the game.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate taking a moment of your time to talk to us here on Your High School Sports, and good luck Friday night.
You bet, man. Thank you.
Get the right services you need from a name you can trust at Crescent Center Drugs. Whether it's hormone replacement therapy or if you need to update your immunizations for flu, pneumonia, or shingles, Crescent Center Drugs has a professional and friendly staff always ready to take care of you. That's why for many years, Crescent Center Drugs has been your good neighbor pharmacy. Right now, getting your medicine is fast and easy when you sign up for the IVR system. It's simple. Once your prescription is filled, your box is scanned, and you instantly receive a phone call or text for pickup. Visit Crescent Center Drugs inside the Crescent Shopping Center.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Roddy Woods, along with Chris Reddick today. Chris Blevins is on his honeymoon in Cancun, but he'll be back with us next week, But it is time for the Ball Corporation Games of the Week. We kick things off Thursday night. It's a WVLT, my Game of the Week, Thursday night. And this game has a lot of implications on how things work out. Bearden versus Farragut. Farragut travels to Bearden. Should be a great game. We've talked to Coach Courtney last week, and he has his team in a low-key mode. You remember when they won the state 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
How they were just low-keyed under the radar?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's got going on right now. If they can beat Bearden, and end up number one, everything goes through Farragut.
Okay. Well,
But you got Science Hill.
Science Hill's they're knocking on the door, but like you just said, Farragut, this is their championship game. Let's just be honest. Let's throw it all out there. They're undefeated in the conference. Bearden is second right behind them, and Bearden knows how bad they need this game, and Farragut understands how bad Bearden needs it. And like you said, Coach Courtney, he's going to have his guys under control and ready, and I think that they're going to keep the engine running steady. And I believe that if we're going to pick now, can I go ahead and pick? I believe Farragut is going to keep that motor running. It may be close, but Farragut's going to come out with the victory.
I'll take that same sentiment. I think Farragut, Coach Courtney's got his team where they need to be at right now.
Yeah.
And when you have a team like that, they got all firepower, they got great quarterback, they get good defensive play. I'll take Farragut on that. That's Thursday night, my VLT game of the week, Thursday night. Check your listings for that game. Go ahead, take it on out, Mark. So listen, Morristown West beat Jeff County last week.
Yes.
Now listen, they play Science Hill. Go to Science Hill. You think Science Hill going to be sleeping on Morristown West?
Let me tell you, I would say that if Science Hill was in a little different position than they're in now, but Science Hill is now in a scrap fighting position, so they can't get too overjoyed about that victory last week because they understand that they got to get a victory each. All right, let me just cut things short. Science Hill's in the playoffs right now.
West.
You lose, you're out. So they understand that. So West is not going to be any test for Science Hill if they just understand that they're in the playoffs right now. It's
Just got to win out.
Yeah, just keep winning and they'll be just fine.
They'll be just fine. All right, now, the big game.
The big game.
Ellzabethton travels down to Greeneville. We've set it up. We've talked about how much firepower both teams have. Great quarterback play. But, Chris, I'm going to ask you something a little bit different. If you had to pick which team has just a little bit of edge that has this little bitty thing that...
What are we going to call the edge? What is the edge?
The little thing.
What's
you know, that one thing that one team has that the other team doesn't have.
Yeah.
Which team has that? It's just little.
It's little, but are we talking X Factor little? Or are we talking
X Factor.
talent little?
X Factor. You always have to have some. Coach Ballard said his team needs to be mistake-free football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here is an advantage, and I've said this 2 or 3 years ago about Greeneville. One of the X factors they have, and I know you're probably tired of hearing this name, but you can't help it. When you are the son of a coach, and you eat, sleep, and breathe football every day, all day, and your dad is the coach, and anytime your dad's got a thought or idea, and he don't have to call you up, wait the next day, hey son, come here, let me talk about it. I was just thinking about setup, if the defense sets up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just daily, everyday conversation. And we're creatures of habit, and when you have that instilled in you, and that's what you're programmed to know, it's literally like, and this is where the X factor comes, it's like having another coach on the field, and what confidence can Coach Ballard have to have his son, who is a quarterback, which is a leadership position, to be on the field, running and operating the team, making sure he's translating what Daddy says? All right, this is what Daddy says. Daddy says you got to do it this way.
But we've seen him. He don't look at Daddy when he's on the field.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it out loud. It's already instilled and said he doesn't literally have to say, but
so that's
what
your
I'm saying,
X factor.
yeah, that is the X factor that
You know what I thought you'd say?
What are you talking about?
As Coach Ballard said, number 5 on Ellzabethton. He said, my team needs to know where number 5 is all the time.
Well,
and you know who number 5
is? Now, here's the thing. Now, here's where it gets interesting when we flip to the other side of the table, if you want to talk X factor for Ellzabethton. Like you said, if you've been watching or following the Cyclones this year, number 5, yes, he's all over the place, but he's not very one-dimensional like he may have been in the past, to where you just automatically know he's getting the ball, he would get it, and he would put up ridiculous numbers. He's kind of, you're talking low-key, he's kind of in a low-key position. And let me tell you why he's in a low-key position. It's not that he's any better or worse. Technically he is better, but he's built up, he's been that leader on the team as a senior. He's built up these young players and also his peers who are his seniors now. He's helped build them up to where you could almost have number 5 off the field and they would be just fine.
Oh, okay. So
now, not saying that you definitely need them. You need them, but I'm just saying it's a little more confidence now with Ellzabethton, and that's what Ellzabethton is going to have is a confidence, that confidence factor. And they had it last year. That first half last year, I think by hitting Greeneville in the mouth, it shocked them a little bit.
It did.
And I think we just let off the brake in the second half, and Greeneville kind of woke up to remind us of we're Greeneville, and that kind of changed the game. So if we can just keep the pedal on the metal and know that we're not going to look at it as, sometimes it's a psychological game. People come in and we're the underdog team.
There's no underdog.
Yeah, you don't look at us and tell, look, we're going for a championship the way you're going for a championship. And they go in there with that mentality. I don't care if it's Greeneville, Unicorn, whoever we line up, Pittsburgh Steelers. we're here to get you, baby. I mean, that's the mentality you got to have.
Something you said there, getting hit in the mouth. I think Greeneville had their mouth busted before the season started.
They did, yeah. We can relate to the story there early. And sometimes you need to get hit early as opposed to late because it may count and hurt you later down the road. So if you're going to get hit in the mouth, get hit early so you can correct some of those mistakes. So yeah, Greeneville, and since they got hit in the mouth in the preseason, they have been smoking teams.
They sure have. All right, we got a game, your high school sports, Sevier County Game of the Week, the final one of the season. Sevier County travels down to Seymour. Should be a good game. Cam Burton, young Cam Burton, you said last year he grew up. Now he's already grown up. He's a junior now.
No, he's just a sophomore.
But he's played that year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Had that
to
year.
Where you're giving him that, yeah.
You're giving him that little bit of extra. Coach Scott Gallion's team is just young. They're just young. So, but Chris and the crew will be out at Seymour this Thursday night, the 11th. They will be there for the Sevier County Game of the Week that will be shown back on playback on Spectrum Channel 180 on October 17th. So make your way out there. The Krispy Kreme crew will be there. They'll be giving away free donuts. All kinds of stuff going on. If you see Chris, you might even get a barbecue sandwich.
Maybe. Actually last week we gave away the Buddy's Barbecue cookies. We actually was giving those out. Yeah. So they enjoyed them.
Get out and catch the Sevier County Game of the Week. Next year, we'll be back. This will be the second year. We went from 4 to 6. You never know how many we might do next year. So now, it's time for the top 10.
Top 10.
Nobody lost in our top 10, so it don't change.
Doesn't change.
It does not change.
So should we still read it, or?
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll let you go.
Coming in at number 10, remaining Greenback. At number 9, this is a team that they may sneak up real fast.
Yes.
Oak Ridge, this team is on fire. Yes. And then number 8, my goodness, this is a team that may jump up too. They're number 4 in the state right now. On our poll, they are number 8. And then you got Anderson County. Anderson County, they're waiting for it. They don't care if it's Ellzabethton and Greeneville. They just want an opportunity to get to the state. And then, like we just talked about earlier, you got coming in at number 6, Knox Farragut. And Farragut is just like you said, in cruise control, waiting to get to the playoffs to show who they really are. And then at number 5, the team we just talked about has got a big battle against them to where if they win this game, we may have to put them at number 2. But right now, Ellzabethton Cyclones are at number 5. And then you've got Knox Fulton. Knox Fulton's been playing it real smooth and cool, kind of like Farragut through the season, waiting for their chance to get in the playoffs, make some real noise. And then we got Maryville. Maryville got hit on the head. They're at number 3 by a team that, is still our number 1. So Maryville is excited about getting to the playoffs to remind them that we're state champions. And then we've got, oh my goodness, another state championship team that's looking to repeat. Yes. At number 2, we've got the Greeneville Green Devils, and we know what they're all about. We talk so much about them. And then, of course, at number 1, the king of the throne, who took down Maryville a few weeks ago, is Alcoa.
Don't we have a top 10?
Wow.
You make our top 10. You are doing good because half the teams you mentioned are in the state.
Yes.
You got Greeneville number 1, Ellzabethton number 3. You've got Crockett.
Crockett's number 4 in the state. Yep.
Yeah, Ellzabethton. Look at our Farragut number 1.
You've
got our top 10 is
loaded.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Your High School Sports minus Chris Blevins. He'll be back next week. But for Chris Reddick, I'm Roddy Woods. We'll see you next week right here on Your High School Sports.